I wouldn't say necessarily that I have two identities, that I'm walking the path between two worlds. I put myself in one world, but everybody else puts me in another. A lot of the things I do are an effort to declare myself and who I am so that others know where I stand. I'm Talon Wilson. I come from the Upper Sioux community in southwest Minnesota. I'm currently studying at a handwork school in Sweden. The school I go to is called Sätergläntan. It has four main focuses that you can choose from. It has blacksmithing, it has woodworking, it has sewing, and it has weaving. I'm currently studying as a blacksmith. I have studied as a woodworker for 2 years, and I'm going to be continuing my study for at least 1, if not 2 more years. Within blacksmithing, it's lots of traditional things, especially in Sweden. There's also lots of room for students to personalize their own experience. For some, that is very much focused on tradition, tools, and history. And for others, it's much more artistic, and they take it in very different directions. So going to Sweden has definitely put me on more of an artistic path. When I went there, I had no intention whatsoever of participating in the more artistic side of the school. I was going there for the traditional handcrafts. I was going to make tools. That was going to be it. Then, having been on the school and working with people of different backgrounds, being around them has made me really appreciate art in a completely different way than I have in the past. Aesthetically pleasing and beautiful things are really starting to become more integrated into what I want to do. So I started with the Milan Village Arts School when I was 13 years old. It was first John Royson's basic knife making class, and then Jean Tokheim and John Royson's advanced knife making class. And I think I did that, if I remember right, 6 years in a row, and kept going and hanging out with those guys and making knives every year and getting progressively better with that. Ever since I was a little kid, I was interested in that kind of stuff. And so the opportunity was fantastic to go to learn at this school. I mean, without them, I would not be at Glönton. What was frustrating was with the Milan School of Village Arts and the North House Folk School is that they are small. You can take a weekend course or a week-long course in whatever you want. You have all these options, but that's not how you truly become a master of something. You really have to dedicate yourself. And so I basically just went around asking the teachers at both schools where I could go. My original intention was actually to see if I could get an apprenticeship with someone, but being a craftsperson is not that lucrative a business, and so unfortunately quite unrealistic nowadays to have an apprentice. It costs too much money and time to train someone in until they're up to the point where they can produce under you. The one thing everyone came back with when I asked was the name Sätergläntan in Sweden. And so with my prior knowledge of Sweden exists and I knew what IKEA was, I looked up the school, signed up, packed my bags and left. As a Dakota person, that is a very heavy influence in my life and decision making. Unfortunately, when I was quite young, we moved away. We moved to Arizona and lived there for 7 years, and I was quite separated from Dakota culture as a whole, really. We had some experiences, but not really enough to really kind of grow into that. When I came back, I jumped as much as I could into what I could. I was taking language classes, I was participating in the youth camps and programs, I was learning as much as I could, but it was a struggle to keep up with the kids who've been dancing since they were 4 years old and trying to learn the language and stuff like that, but I did my best. And so one of the things as a crafts person that I'm trying to do is kind of rediscover what Dakota crafts are, what Dakota crafts look like, what Dakota design looks like. Part of what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take these ideas and essentially evolve my understanding of the culture, my growing understanding of the culture, and incorporate it into what I do. One of the things that is really scary about trying to do this is the fact that, I mean, culturally speaking, we have lost so much. There is so much culture that is just gone and it will never come back because there's no one who can bring it back, really. Another one of the things that I struggle with personally is the issue of cultural appropriation. The idea of taking something without any cultural perspective or influence or knowledge is a really scary thing. I mean, especially spiritually speaking, taking things out of context can be a really dangerous thing. That being said, I'm in Sweden studying for Dakota people 2 very non-traditional crafts. And so part of my struggle every time I try and sit down and design something even, where am I drawing that line? How much am I taking from traditional Scandinavian culture? My life has evolved quite a lot after taking this journey to Sweden. When I got there, I was 18 years old. I had never lived by myself before, never traveled by myself before, never been to a country where a different language was spoken as the primary language. It was really intense. I mean, within that first year, I grew up a lot. I learned a lot about, what it is to be, or well, at least start being an adult. I learned what it is to be a craftsperson. I began learning what it is to be an artist. I mean, I was an outspoken 18-year-old, but I was very quiet within social settings. And moving to another country, having to make friends in order to survive has really helped me grow socially as a person in ways I never thought I would. One of the issues I've had to deal with just about all my life growing up around a Native community is the fact that I don't look Native. I consider myself Dakota, but there's always been an effort to prove myself to other people. As messed up as a thing that can be, I actually felt that it was a very positive experience for me personally. It's not for everyone. But I was able to grow a lot through that as well because it pushed me and it motivated me in different directions where otherwise I may not have been interested or participated in things I would never have even seen. And so part of this crafts thing that I'm doing is a declaration of who I am. In my future, what I want for myself is when people see my work, they can identify that it's me. And to a certain degree, at the very least, I want them to be able to identify that I am Dakota, I am a Dakota person, I have these values, and I want that to shine through my craft.
Visit pioneer.org/postcards to catch up on missed episodes and to find out more about your favorite segments. Postcards is made possible by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota. Additional support provided by Margaret A. Cargill Philanthropy, Mark and Margaret Yackel-Julien on behalf of Shalom Hill Farms, a retreat and conference center in a prairie setting near Windham, Minnesota. On the web at shalomhillfarm.org. Alexandria, Minnesota, a year-round destination with hundreds of lakes, trails, and attractions for memorable vacations and events. More information at explorealex.com. The Lake Region Arts Council's Arts Calendar, an arts and cultural heritage funded digital calendar showcasing upcoming art events and opportunities for artists in West Central Minnesota. On the web at lrac4calendar.org.